Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of FPL Fanzone. My name's Nick and in today's episode we are going to take a look at game week 36. We've only 3 game weeks left of the season and now no confirmed doubles or blanks to come up. It's now what do we do for that final running. In today's episode, we are going to look at the remaining fixtures. We're going to look at the in-form players to target for this week. Chip strategy for those of you that are brave enough to still have chips left with 3 game weeks left to go. Assistant manager options, and there's not a lot of those available, especially with table bonus for this week. Captain's choice, and then of course a quick look back over my teams over the last couple of weeks. Now we do have an interesting development at the top of the FPL Fanzone League. There is still time for you to join. The code is on the screen. And the winner will get a Premier League shirt of their choice. Now currently it's tied with 3 weeks to go. Brandon and Micah both have 2,437 points. So with 3 weeks to go, it could look like I'm buying 2 Premier League shirts, which is not what I planned, but hey, obviously it's really tight at the top there. So good luck to both of those guys. Looking forward to see who wins that before the end of the season. But feel free to join the FPL Fanzone League. Code is on the screen. And as I said, a Premier League shirt of your choice for the winner. Also, if you're new around here, hit subscribe, hit like if you get some value from this video. But without further ado, let's get started. So let's take a quick look at the remaining fixtures then for the rest of the season. And there's a couple of things to take into consideration here, especially around game week 37. So game week 37, there is the FA Cup final. So Man City and Crystal Palace are both playing twice that week. So the FA Cup final is on the Sunday. They will play their rescheduled game on the Wednesday of that week. So it may well be that there's some hangover for those teams, and also the teams that they're playing will have had a much longer rest before playing them. So that's Man City, Bournemouth and Crystal Palace Wolves are moved to the Wednesday of game week 37. Also, you've got the Europa League final, which is now going to have Man United and Tottenham, which are going to be playing in the midweek for the final. Have those both gone through this morning? So that means that their game, so I think it's Chelsea, Man United and Aston Villa Spurs in game week 37 is going to be played on the Friday night UK time or Saturday morning here in Australia. So their games are going to be rushed, so they have slightly less time, but they're also going to have both Man United and Tottenham have nothing to play for in the league. They can't get any other European spots. They can't get, the only way that they're going to get into the Champions League is by winning the Europa League. So there's a real chance that both of those teams will rotate their teams heavily in game week 37, which makes the fixtures for Chelsea and Aston Villa significantly better in game week 37. But then also, Chelsea are in the Conference League final, but that's not played until after game week 38. So there may be a chance that they rotate their team in game week 38 as they've got the league final after that as well. So they're just some things to think about when you're looking at your teams over the next couple of weeks. Looking at the fixtures themselves, there's no real standout winners here. Wolves have a nice run. They've been on good form recently. They've got 3 sort of middling fixtures there with no one really fighting for Europe or relegation in that sense. Liverpool have also got Arsenal this week and then a couple of easier games, but they've already wrapped up the title. Arsenal are still now in that hunt for the top 5. I know they're in second at the moment, but there's only 5 points between them and 5th place. So they need to get some wins, but obviously have Liverpool this week. And then if you look outside of that, Man City have great fixture this week with Southampton away, as do Brentford with Ipswich away. So there's a couple of nice teams to target this week. And then also on the last day of the season as well, I think Arsenal have Southampton away. So again, potentially looking at bringing in some of their players if you don't already have them for game week 38. So at this stage of the season, it's quite easy to just target the relegated teams of Ipswich, Southampton and Leicester. They've got nothing really to play for anymore. They've all been relegated. None of them can actually save themselves anymore. So it just feels like that if you've got good teams up against them, and you've got Manchester City and Nottingham Forest that are both and all still fighting for a Champions League spot, you do expect them to be some heavy scoring games on that as well. And Brentford have been in a fairly decent run of form, so there could obviously be some goals there against that Ipswich side. So they would be the three teams that I would target this week when looking for transfers to bring players in. Looking then at the players that are in form to target for the rest of the season, bearing in mind I only have 3 free transfers between now and the end of the season. I don't have any stacked up. I don't have any chips left. So any players that I'm looking now, ideally I want them to be able to have good fixtures and be in a good run of form for those final 3 games to help with that rank rise. So looking here, we've got Ryan Aït-Nouri from Wolves. Great attacking upside, really good form at the moment. Some good fixtures there, and the potential obviously with Crystal Palace in the FA Cup final in Gameweek 37 for them to either have tired legs, to be hangover because they've won it, or I just feel that there's an opportunity there as well. So those fixtures might be a little bit easier than it looks like on paper. Jared Bowen on great form at the moment. I brought him into the team last week, so I was really happy for that. 7.5. I captained him last week as well for a total of 18 points, which was great. Man United away, as you've already mentioned, they've got one eye now on that Europa League final. Are they going to start to rest their players, rotate to make sure that they can get that Champions League spot for next year? Nottingham Forest are in an absolute fight to keep their Champions League place at the moment, but their form has been terrible, so I don't actually mind that as a fixture. And then, of course, Ipswich away on the last day of the season. There's some great opportunities there for Bowen to get goals. Harvey Barnes was in my team before the free hit. 7.4 form at the moment. Tough fixtures though. Chelsea at home, Arsenal away, and then Everton at home. So not great fixtures. But Newcastle are in a good run of form at the moment. They're high after winning the League Cup earlier on this season. I just think that there's an opportunity there for him to bring in if you're looking for a Newcastle player. But of the ones listed on this screen, he's probably the least attractive because of the difficulty of the fixtures over the coming weeks. 2 of the next 3 are teams that are fighting for Champions League spots, so it's going to be tough for that as well. Kevin De Bruyne, form is 7.0. His last hurrah, obviously he's announced that he's leaving Man City at the end of the season. He's got Southampton away this week. He's in good form. It's a great fixture for him to go and get some more points. And then Bournemouth and Fulham, 2 sort of mid-table teams to end the season. I do think that this, as I said, his last hurrah, he's playing 90 minutes at the moment. He is a phenomenal player. And for those that are looking for that nostalgia pick, you know, how good he's been in the Premier League, how great he's been at Fantasy Premier League, I would like to bring him in for the last couple of weeks, especially given that fixture run as well. And then Johan Visser, the best in-form player in the league at the moment, according to Fantasy Premier League at least, with 8.5. He's got Ipswich away this week. It just seems like a no-brainer if you're looking to bring one of the forwards in. And then Fulham and then Wolves away on the last day of the season. Now, Wolves haven't got anything to play for, but I do think that that's a nice run of fixtures for Johan Visser on that. And then Matheus Cunha, also great form since he's been back from his suspension, 8.0, and a nice, as we already talked about it with Aït-Nouri, a middling run of fixtures. That game week 37, I think, will be slightly easier than what's highlighted here. So I just think these are the players that I would target if I'm looking to bring in a player for the last 3 game weeks. But let me know in the comments below, is there anyone I'm missing? I did have a look through those that are in form at the moment, those that have good fixtures. These are the ones that stand out to me. Does anyone have any remaining chips? I've used all of mine. I've got none left. And with no doubles and no blanks between now and the end of the season, any chips now are really going to be a little bit team dependent. But let's have a quick look at, if I had any chips remaining, what game weeks I would be looking to use them and what pitfalls I'd be looking out for. So let's have a quick look at the remaining chips and where I would play them in the last 3 game weeks. So I've brought the fixtures back up on the screen again, and let's go through each of the chips one by one. If you've got your wild card remaining, use it now. Pick your team, optimize it for the teams with the best fixtures over the next 3 weeks. So think of like getting triple Man City, getting triple Wolves, potentially getting triple Brentford. You could also look at Aston Villa have a good run with obviously the Tottenham game in the middle. You potentially want to free some space up to have Arsenal players for the last game of the season or Bournemouth players for the last game of the season. So you'd have to use that now, otherwise you're getting no value from that chip whatsoever. If you've still got the assistant manager's chip, you've got to be careful here because it lasts for 3 weeks, and you need to have money to buy the manager. So you would have to activate it now. It would last for 3 weeks. I mean, you could activate it in Gameweek 37 or Gameweek 38, but then you're just losing 1 or 2 weeks worth of value from that. So if you've got that and other chips, you've then got to make a choice. Which one would you use? And again, it really just depends on what chips. I haven't gone through all of the permutations, but if you've only got your assistant manager chip, activate it this Gameweek 36, pick a manager, and obviously because transfers are limited, and it does cost a transfer. If you want to change your manager, you're probably going to want to pick a manager that's going to be okay fixtures for the rest of the season. There's not a huge amount. I've had a quick look at table bonus. So if you've got your assistant manager chip, there's no doubles, there's no blanks, and very few table bonus unless you're going to take a punt on picking one of the promoted sides. I just think you go and pick someone like a Pep Guardiola, who's still got stuff to play for. The team's in good form at the moment and they're scoring a few goals. If you've got your free hit chip, I'd probably use that on Gameweek 38, just because that's the game week that has the most rotations, and you can have a real chance there of just picking some wild card players and getting a real punt, picking the free Arsenal, free Bournemouth. You could go free West Ham, because no one will have those 9 players, or at least not all of them. So it would just be a really good opportunity to free hit on that last game week, and try and mop up as many points as possible. Triple captain, for me, I would either do it in Gameweek 36 or Gameweek 38. So in Gameweek 36, you would either choose a Brentford or a Man City player, so against Southampton or Leicester. In Gameweek 38, I would just use it on an Arsenal player. They typically have their last game of the season is really strong. They're playing Southampton, who are obviously just going to be relegated, and Arsenal still have to secure the Champions League spot as well. Outside of that, there's no real great fixtures, and there's a lot of variability in Gameweek 37, especially with rotation for the FA Cup final and also the Europa League final as well. So it would be very difficult to pick there. You could go obviously off-piste. And then of course your bench boost is really just team dependent. Who's on your bench and who has the best set of fixtures? Which week do you think your team's going to get the most points from your bench players? So all in all, if you've still got chips left, I applaud you for keeping them this long, but obviously there were better weeks in my opinion to have used each of these chips. But in summary, wildcard this week, assistant manager this week if you've got no other chips, free hit game week 38, triple captain either this week or game week 38, and then your bench boost is just really team dependent on who's on your bench and what fixtures they have. So good luck for those of you that still have chips remaining for this last few games. So let's then have a quick look at the assistant manager chip. I know there's only 3 games left. There's no doubles, no blanks. So let's have a quick look at what I would do if I had that chip and if it was active this week and for the next couple of weeks as well. If you've got this far into the video, it would be great if you could smash that like button. It really helps out the channel. Hit subscribe if you're new around here. I've already broken my record for the season. I was only hoping for 50 subscribers. I'm now well over 400. Would love to get to 500 before the end of the season. So if you're new around here and want to help out a new YouTuber, whack that subscribe button. Let's see if we can get to 500 in the last 3 game weeks. But without further ado, let's have a quick look at who is the best choice for assistant manager. With the assistant manager, looking at this week's fixtures, there's only 3 table bonus, and that's Ipswich, Southampton and Leicester. And let's be honest, there's no way should we really be taking a punt on any of those to be getting table bonus this week. Ipswich against Brentford, Southampton against Man City, and Leicester against Nottingham Forest. I just don't see any of them picking up wins this week or even draws. So there's certainly no table bonus upside for this week. For me, if I was activating the assistant manager this week for the last 3 weeks, I'd probably be looking someone just like Guardiola. They're chasing Champions League spots. They're in good form at the moment. They're scoring goals. My second option would be Thomas Frank. Brentford have some nice fixtures, and I just feel like there's the safest option moving forward. Outside of that, all of the other teams have tough fixtures, which is going to require you to change your manager, use transfers, and they're going to be very, very valuable between now and the end of the season. So for me, it would be just a set and forget. Guardiola is more expensive. You would need to have 1.5 million in the bank. Thomas Frank is only 0.8 million, so it would be a little bit more attainable for those that don't have big budgets available for that as well. But assistant manager just feels now, with no doubles, like it's a much harder one, and there's not a huge amount of table bonus available now between the Game Week 36 and Game Week 38. So for me, if I was doing it, Guardiola, set and forget for the rest of the season. If you wanted to go a little bit differential, you could go Thomas Frank. But let me know in the comments below. Maybe you just go and support your own team, pick your own manager. But we're all chasing points at this moment. We've all got a goal that we're trying to achieve for the end of the season. And for me, the best way to those points would be Guardiola. Next up, captains. Now, I don't have Salah in my team anymore, but Liverpool are playing Arsenal this week. Arsenal have obviously, let's talk about it. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. Arsenal got knocked out in the semi-finals against PSG. It was tough to take, but it is what it is. You know, if you told me at the start of the season we'd finish second and get to the semi-finals of the Champions League after beating Real Madrid in the quarters, I probably would have been okay with that. Yes, of course, I want Arsenal to win a trophy, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about who's the captain for Game Week 36. Liverpool are playing Arsenal, so that rules out Saka and Salah for me. Looking at the fixtures and looking at the form, you would be saying Bruyne and Bruyne and Johan Wissa, both on good form, both got a great fixture. And then if you're looking at Man City, Kevin De Bruyne is in great form at the moment. Omar Mamouche is not in great form, and there's the news that Erling Haaland is back in training. So while I don't expect him to start this week, I do expect him to come on and get some minutes at the end before the FA Cup final. So I expect that he will get reduced minutes at the moment. So for me, Bruyne and Bremo, I love the idea of Kevin De Bruyne. I just think that fixture is really, really strong for them. He's in good form at the moment. So in my order, it would probably be Kevin De Bruyne, Bryan and Bremo, and then Johan Wissa, then Omar Mamouche. You could look at some of the other players, but in terms of form and fixtures, these are the captains that I would choose for this week. Okay, so let's have a quick look at how my team did in Game Week 35, and then look at some of the options that I've got moving forward into Game Week 36. And do I take another -4 to chase points? Game Week 35 was another green arrow for FPL Fanzone. I'm now well inside the top million, so 776,000. It was 70,000 places, and I took a -4. So I sold I sold Salah, and I bought in Bowen and Umbremo, both of which scored points for me. I actually captained Bowen for his 9 points to make it 18. But quick run through my team. I had Raya and Saliba from Arsenal. Obviously both got 1 point each after losing to Bournemouth. Ruben and Gvardiol got 7 and 8 points in the Man City defence, so that was a real win. Sarr 2 points, Saka 2 points, Bowen as my captain with 18 points, and then Umbremo with 5 points with the assists. Isak 9 points, Marmouche with 2 points, so a bit disappointing from him in recent weeks, and then Mateta with 2 points as well. And then on the bench I had Henderson, Rodgers, Konsa and Konate. So I'm not really too fussed there. I felt like it was a good week overall, even with the -4, up 70,000 places. I feel like it's left my team in a strong position moving forward into Game Week 36. But let me know in the comments below, how did you do in Game Week 35? Did you get a green arrow? Did you get a red arrow? What are any transfers that you think I should be looking at for my team? Game week 36, and the team is okay. Henderson in goal versus Tottenham away this week. Obviously, Tottenham, having gone through to the Europa League final, may potentially looking at rotating their team or resting their players before game week 37. But then I've got Ruben, Gvardiol and Marmoush from Man City all playing Southampton away, which is great. I've got the two Arsenal players currently on the field against Liverpool away, but I may look at potentially putting them on the bench. I think that's a tough fixture. We do need a bounce back after the Champions League loss and the Bournemouth loss, where we haven't secured Champions League place yet. We are sitting in the best position in second in the league, but with a couple of losses, we could be down in fifth or sixth and then lose out on Champions League altogether, which would be an absolute disaster. So Liverpool have nothing to play for. They've already won the league. Arsenal do have something to play for, so we do expect a bit of a bounce back from those guys as well. I've also got Sarr and Mateta from Crystal Palace. We've talked about obviously the Tottenham now with their one eye on the European trophies. Will they potentially rest players? I don't think they will in game week 36, but definitely will be looking at it in game week 37. But it does feel like Tottenham are in a terrible form in the league, so I'm okay to have those both for this week. Then I've got Bowen with Man United away, again same position as Tottenham, one eye on the Europa League now, so I think that they could miss the ball here and give an opportunity for Bowen. Then Umbremo with Ipswich at home, which is a great fixture. Isak with Chelsea at home, a tough fixture. We talked about Marmoush and Mateta already, so overall the team looks okay. It's not the best run of fixtures, and not all of these players are in a great run of form. I've got 3.8 million in the bank, having sold Salah last week. So let's have a quick look at some of my transfer options for this week. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I am really keen on bringing in Kevin De Bruyne for the last few game weeks. I think this is a good game week to jump on that bandwagon. He's in good form. They've got a great fixture. And with potentially Erling Haaland coming back into the fold as well, there could be more points on board for Kevin in his final hurrah. But in order to do that, I already have free Man City, so I do need to free up a spot on that. So the choices are to move Ruben Diaz to Ait-Nouri. Ait-Nouri is the most informed defender in the league at the moment. The clean sheets are potentially there, but his attacking upside is massive. And then, of course, I could move Omar Mamouche, who's out of form at the moment, to Yohan Wissa, who is the most informed player at the moment as well. So for me, moving out of the Crystal Palace player to Kevin De Bruyne makes sense. I've got the money for that direct, having the sale of Salah last week, but I do need to free up another one. So I will need to take a -4 to do this. I think my preferred route is to move Omar Mamouche out, especially with Haaland coming back in training now, so it could potentially take away some of his minutes. And I think Yohan Wissa has a great fixture this week as well, so I think it's less of a blow taking out someone who's got an amazing fixture to bring in someone who's also got an amazing fixture but is also in good form as well. So this is where I'm thinking taking another -4 for the second week in a row, but I do like this for the rest of the season. So this is how my team would line up for game week 36. I haven't pulled the trigger on those transfers just yet. I will wait a little bit closer towards the deadline to see if there is any news, especially around Kevin De Bruyne, before I go ahead. But it would be Henderson in goal with Tottenham away, Ruben Gvardiol, Saliba in defence with Southampton away, and then Liverpool away. I could certainly look at moving Saliba to Konsa, for example, who has Bournemouth away. I may potentially make that move as well. And then midfield, I would captain De Bruyne against Southampton away. I'd keep Saka versus Liverpool away, Bowen against Manchester United away, and then Umbremo against Ipswich at home as my vice captain. And then up front, I would have Isak versus Chelsea at home, Wissa versus Ipswich at home, and then Mateta against Tottenham away. And then on the bench, it would have David Raya, Morgan Rogers, Konsa and Canate, and as I said, I would potentially look at moving Konsa to Saliba, as I just thought there's more chance of a clean sheet there, and there's no real attacking upside from either of those as well. So that's where my head's at. Moving into game week 36, I'm quite excited now. I'm inside the top million. I'd like to get to the top 500k, but that would require 90k rise each week for the last 3 weeks to get into the top 500,000. So let me know how your team's doing. Don't forget to join the FPL Fanzone League. But thanks for watching. As always, big thank you for watching FPL Fanzone. If you've got this far into the video, surely that's a contract for you to just smash that like button. Leave a comment below to let me know what you liked. If you've got any questions regarding Game Week 36, chips, captains, or anyone that you feel that I've missed, leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. As I said, I am now set a new target of trying to get 500 subscribers by the end of the season, which would be absolutely fantastic given this is a new channel. Hit that notification bell if you want updates for videos coming out between now and the end of the season, and then also watch this space as there is some new exciting announcements coming up in the next few weeks for FPL Fanzone. Speak to you all soon, and may all your arrows be green.